Welcome to Omar's Story Nook, where history gets spicy, legends get a remix, and imagination runs wild. Every tale you hear is a whisper of Omar, echoing across times and seasons. They sold the world a paradise, spices in the air, the sea at your feet, and the sunset soft enough to kiss. They said Zanzibar was a jewel, a crossroad of cultures, a dream of harmony. But under the silk and coral stone, a fire was waiting. For centuries, this island shimmered in the Indian Ocean like a mirage, a kingdom of cloves, carved doors, and cosmopolitan beauty. But in 1964, paradise shattered. The streets of Stone Town would run with blood. The beaches would burn with secrets, and a name, John Okello, would rise like a phantom, roar like a storm, and disappear just as fast. This is not a peaceful story. This is a story of power and pain, of empire and erasure, of how an island ruled by Arab elites was rocked awake by its African majority, and how, when the tide changed, it brought more than freedom. It brought silence, it brought shame. This is the Zanzibar Revolution, a tale the textbooks skip, a truth the clove trees still remember. Zanzibar was beautiful, but beauty often lies. Long before 1964, it was ruled by the Sultan, an Arab-led monarchy that had held sway over this archipelago for generations. Yes, the streets were lined with coral brick mansions. Yes, sailors from Oman, Persia, and India brought languages, trade, and architecture. Yes, the island thrived, but not for all. Underneath the carved balconies and crescent moons, a second Zanzibar existed. Zanzibar of laborers, of descendants of slaves, of black Zanzibaris who picked cloves, swept floors, hauled spices, but never ruled. Independence came in 1963. Britain left, but the Sultan stayed. And to the majority, this wasn't freedom. It was the same oppression, painted new. Jobs were scarce. Housing was uneven. Power stayed in Arab hands. And the people, who had waited patiently for their turn, began to whisper, if not now, then when? The storm didn't break all at once. It built, slow, bitter, steady, like smoke calling beneath a sealed door. Until a man named Okello walked through that smoke and said, burn it all. The date is January 12th, 1964. Darkness had not yet lifted when it began. John Okello, Ugandan by blood, revolutionary by fire, led a ragtag army through the island like a scythe. They weren't trained soldiers. They were farmers, dock workers, young men who had never held a rifle. But that night, they stormed police stations. They cut power lines. They seized the radio station and declared revolution. Within hours, the monarchy collapsed. The Sultan fled the island barefoot, legend says. The palace gates swung open to smoke and songs. The old world was gone, but what followed was not calm. Okello's forces, high on vengeance armed with machetes, turned on the Arab, elite, and South Asian communities. They called it justice. They called it cleansing. They stormed homes, set fire to the past. Hundreds died, maybe thousands. Historians still argue. The records were never clear. Women were dragged from hiding. Children were orphaned by dawn. Some families disappeared without a trace, gone like the tides. Okello roared through the radio, calling himself Field Marshal. He claimed the people's victory. But power built on fear is fragile, and the ground beneath him was already shifting. The Afro Shirazi Party, the real political backbone of the island, moved swiftly. Okello had served his purpose. Now, he was a liability. In a few weeks, he vanished. Some say he was sent away. Others claim he was killed. No grave, no trial, only a whisper in the coral holes. The new government led by Abeid Karume, formed the People's Republic of Zanzibar and Pemba. But within months, that too changed. Zanzibar merged with Tanganyika. Together, they became Tanzania. A new flag rose. A new anthem was sung. But beneath the anthem, pain lingered. Silence grew. The mass graves were never marked. No museum mourned the fallen. Many survivors refused to speak. They raised their children without answers, only glances and gaps in family trees. Zanzibar had revolution, but it never had closure. Today, Zanzibar wears a smile. Stone Town draws tourists. The spice markets bustle again, but the air is thick if you listen closely. Ask the elders in horsed corners. They remember the night the sky turned red, the morning the Sultan was gone, the neighbors who never came back, and slowly, a new generation is peeling back the silence. Painters are painting what the government erased. Poets are writing what the officials redacted. Truth, like clove, rises in scent long after the tree is gone. Because revolution isn't just about what burns, it's also about what is buried. And Zanzibar still remembers. History doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it wears a mache. Sometimes it disappears on a boat in the night. The Zanzibar revolution was not neat. It was not holy. It was not unbroken victory. But it was real. And it was loud before silence claimed it. So the next time someone tells you Africa's revolutions were clean, whisper back, ask Zanzibar. And remember, when the island bloomed in clove, it also bled in silence. This isn't just history. This is Omar's story Nook, where truth whispers between the lines and legacy refuses to fade. Until the next whispers of Omar, stay listening.